simply concerned with making this world as materially comfortable as possible. He's generally very greedy, and he thinks that anything attained by him is permanent and is never to be lost. That's called illusion. That's illusion, thinking I'm going to gain something in this world. Such a person is envious of others and prepared to do anything wrong for sense gratification. Yeah, so that's the bad character comes up when one thinks, yeah, one acts by hook or crook, I will get it for my enjoyment. So then, yeah, you do stupid things. Therefore, such a person is unclean, and he does not care whether his earning is pure or impure. Such a person is unclean. Unclean in heart, unclean in character, unclean in body. Yeah. And he does not care whether his earning is pure or impure. Black market or white, it doesn't matter. He's very happy if his work is successful, and very much distressed when his work is not successful. Yes.
Changing mood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's his. When he does not get what he wants, he gets very disturbed. Angry. Yes. So that's the performer in the mode of passion. The one in the mode of ignorance, ayukta pakita stapta sato naskritikola sa vishadidarya sutresha karta tamasa uchate. The worker who is always engaged in work against the instructions of the scriptures, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in a mode of ignorance. So they engage in work not to be done, not according to the injunctions of the scriptures. Such people are generally not very gentle, and generally they are always cunning and expert in insulting others. Yeah, cunning and expert. Some are really expert in anyway, if you have been in New York, you know about it's a joke. So now, different kinds of understanding and determination. First, understanding. Buddhi bedam trideshiva gunatas trividam shina paksyamanam shina pitaksvina dhananjaya. A winner of 12, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. So, the intelligence and determination. First, the intelligence of those in goodness. Pravitim sha nivitim sha karya karye bhaya bhavave bandhamuksam syaveti buddhi sabhakta sattvike. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what not ought to be done, what is to be feared, what is not to be feared, what is binding, what is liberating, is in a mode of goodness. Yeah. What's to be done, what's not to be done, what's to be feared, what's not to be feared. That's what's binding, what's not binding, and what's liberating. Yeah? That's knowledge. That's good intelligence. Performing actions in terms of the direction of the scripture is called pravritti, or execution of actions that deserve to be performed. Actions we are not so directed are not to be performed. One who does not know the scriptural directions becomes entangled in the actions and reactions of work. Understanding which discriminates by intelligence is situated in the mode of goodness. Understanding which discriminates by intelligence. Yes, using one's intelligence. Yada dharmam dharman sakaryam evacha anyatavat pranachati buddhi sapartarachasi. That understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. So the only consideration is, if it gives me sense enjoyment, it's good. And all the other things, whether that's religion or irreligion, they don't consider. What should it be done, should it be not be done? That, of course, there are certain rules of morality which keeps them a little in bay, under control. But anyway. Now the understanding of one in ignorance, that's no understanding. Adharman dharman itiya manyate tamasavita savartam viparitam sa buddhisaparta tamasi. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, or part, is in the mode of ignorance. They go in the wrong direction, but they honestly think they are in the right direction. It's not easy. Intelligence in the mode of ignorance is always working in the opposite way. It accepts religion which are not factually religions and rejects actual religion. That you see that today also.
Nowadays.
Hare Krishna movement is a sect. A cult that fools instead of enjoying life. So that's the mode of ignorance. Men in ignorance understand the great soul to be a common man and accept the common man as a great soul. They think, you see that a common man is a great soul. Sudras are becoming presidents of the country, and you see the results. That they think truth to be untruth and accept untruth as truth. In all activities, they simply take the wrong path. Therefore, their intelligence is in the mode of ignorance. Why? Because they identify with the body, that's all. Therefore, every decision is based on the understanding that I'm the body.
It is interesting that one Bulgarian poet wrote the same thing, that nowadays people will think the normal, the intelligent one for fools, and the fools everyone will worship and honor.
Yeah, so Pitta Jaya Darajate Manapatandriya Kriya Yugana Vyabhicharinya Pritisaparta Satviki. Son of Pitta, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls activities, mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. So one who doesn't care for failure or success, but always go do his duty further. That's great. That's determination in the mode of goodness. Yes, very regulated, unbreakable, controls the activities of the mind. It's not easy. That, because those in passion are controlled by the mind. Those in the mode of ignorance, their mind is mad, completely mad. Madness.
Senses
The word afya bicharinya is very significant. for it indicates that persons who are engaged in Krishna consciousness are never deviated by any other activity. That so in the 70s they tried to deprogram devotees. They kidnapped them and tried them to give up all their convictions, but they did that also with other groups. But these deprogrammers were later brought before court, so that was their practices were not legal. But one of these famous deprogrammers said, "This Hare Krishna is impossible to deprogram them. It's too late." Especially if they are in the movement 3 years, forget it. It's not possible anymore. That's a compliment. We have this determination based on faith and. The word avyabhicharina is very significant, for it indicates that persons who are engaged in Krishna consciousness are never deviated by any other activity. Now, another determination in passion, yaya tu dharmakam artam tritya dharayatayana pasangena phalankrangsi triti sapartarajasi. But that determination by which one holds fast the fruit if results in religion, economic development and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Of the nature of passion. That if I'm not going to get the result, the enjoyment I want, I'm not going to do it anymore. Give it up. Determination is gone. But if it's too difficult for the body, no determination is quite big. It depends on getting the fruits, their idea of getting the fruits. If it's not there anymore, no determination. So, Jaya Swapnam Vaya Sukam Vishadam Madam Evasham Navimunshati Durmeda Priti Sa Parta Tamasi. When the Buddha said Vishadam Madam, Madam means illusion, very interesting.
Madam.
You know, Madame is the French for women.
For women.
Madame.
Madame. In Bulgaria also.
Also,
Yeah.
Madame.
Madame.
It's
Madame.
French word.
It's maybe French word.
So here dream means too much sleep. That no determination. I'm not going to do it. Just let me sleep.
No determination.
So determination in the mode of ignorance means no determination. Sukham vidanim trividam shiname paradakshavam apyasara mateyatra dukkam tamnani gacchati. Now about happiness. Best of the Bharatas. Now please hear for me of the 3 kinds of happiness which a conditioned soul enjoys and by which it sometimes comes to an end of all distress. A conditioned soul is always engaged in some type of sense gratification, but when you understand by good association that it is only a repetition of the same thing and is awakened to his real Krishna consciousness, he is sometimes relieved from such repetitive so-called happiness. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says. Materna Krishna Partos Vatavapi Mito Vivatjetri Afatanamantaka Purifisatam Tamasam Tamama Kundangini Shiva Shiva. No, that's wrong. That's Punar Punar Sarva. Yes, Materna Krishna Partos Materna Krishna Parto Vatusva Pite Vivatjeta Afatanam Anandaka Purifisatam Tamasham Punas Sarvata Sarvaninam. Yeah. This is Prahlad Maharaj speaking to his father Hiranyakasipu. Hiranyakasipu becomes fearful that because by the influence of his father, he may also become Krishna conscious. But Materna Krishna Patos Vatava Mitopi Patieter Yavatnam Prahlad Maharaj said, don't be worried about this. This inclination for you to become Krishna conscious will never take place. Because, why? Because you are very attached. You are deep in the well of sense gratification. Too much in the mode of passion will not happen for you, he says. That because why your mind? Ananda Gopiyapisata Tamisham, your mind is uncontrolled. And your mind brings you to hell. To hell. And what is this hell in the material world? Punaspata Sarvata Sarvananam. You do always the same stereotyped activities of sense gratification just for the body. So that's what people do. They get up in the morning, always the same thing. They are a little pious, they take a shower, but mostly not. And then they hear all the news first, all the subtle body intelligence, mind polluted by it, and then they start polluting their body with coffee and cigarettes or whatever. Always the same sense gratification, every day, and that's their life. Yes. So that's. But sometimes, Prabhupada writes in the purpose, sometimes such a person with a mode of passion meets a devotee and he starts to understand that that's useless what I'm doing. But when in the mode of passion, is not understand that. But now happiness in the mode of goodness, and that's interesting. Yattat arke vishami va parinama amritopanam tatsukam satkam puktam atma buddhi pasadajam. That which in the beginning may be just like poison and at the end just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So in the beginning, you join the movement, you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, it's too much, it's very difficult, it's like poison in the beginning. But later, 30 years later, what's the point? We get every morning up at 3 o'clock. In the beginning is poison. That which in the beginning just like poison, at the end just like nectar. In the pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and the senses, and to control the mind and the self. All these procedures are very difficult. Following a sadhana every day is not easy. It's bitter like poison, but if one is successful in following the regulations and comes to the transcendental position, he begins to drink real nectar and he enjoys life.
Joy.
So in the beginning, we have to do all these extra exercises that Tarun Krishna Prabhu. It's poison in the beginning. But later you feel better and peaceful. You get so that's yeah. But it doesn't happen the first day. And the first day after you are broken.
We can see with Sankarshan the food. Oh, this is not my food style. But now he's losing 3 kilos. Everything's okay. He's happy.
Yeah.
But here it is said in the beginning, maybe just like a poison. So it's not 100% that it will be like poison, depending on one's nature, probably.
It depends. The beginning like poison depends in what mode that you are coming from, and then you must come like you have when Radhanath Maharaj joined the movement, he was a yogi already for a few years. It was not a big thing, these things. It was not poison to chant Hare Krishna to get early up. That was not like that. So it depends on from what level it comes. But therefore it says maybe, that So in you have the poison at the end, just like nectar. You give up sex life, and the mode of passion is strict. But then you feel peaceful. That's not controlled by women. What a feeling! Anyway, I should not say that when it's.
Now we are only.
Visayandriya samyoga yatat agre metopanam. Parinami vishami vatat sukam rajasam smitam. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. So nectar in the beginning but poison at the end. It's like marriage. In the beginning you are in illusion, but then a few days later your wife will wake you up out of the illusion. And it's not so much nectar anymore. That's the nature of passion. A young man and a young woman meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and to have sexual intercourse. In the beginning it may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, or after some time, it becomes just like poison. They are separated, or there is divorce, there is lamentation, there is sorrow. Happiness derived from a combination of the sense and the sense objects is always a cause of distress and should be avoided at all means. It's a practical example of what Krishna said before. One who tries to enjoy will suffer, and there you have it.
Which verse was that?
522. Yatrahe sanubande cha sukamanam atmanam nitralasya pramado tam tatama samudaritam. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from the beginning and the end, and which arises from sleep, laziness and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. So one who takes pleasure in laziness and in sleep is so in the mode of darkness, ignorance, and who has no idea of how to act or not to act is in the mode of ignorance. For the person in the mode of ignorance, there is only distress, both in the beginning and at the end. Those who drink beer, it tastes so bad. They are drinking it from the beginning and they think it's pleasure. Yeah. And then
or smoking.
And then the digestion is upset. Next day vomiting. And Natatastu prityampa dividiveshva puna sattvam bhakti muktam ya ebisya tibirgunai. There is no being existence in among the demigods in the higher planetary systems here or among the demigods which is free from the modes born of material nature. Everyone is under the modes. Now, what's the solution for these modes? Krishna is said in the fourth chapter he spoke of 4.13 about Varnashrama, Vibhagasa. So Krishna said, I created the Varnashram system to create a peaceful society where everyone works according to one's modes in a peaceful way. That according to one's modes means according to one's psychophysical nature. And therefore he speaks about know about the different varnas. That what brings one to goodness. Acting according to the varnashram, doing one's duty, creates a peaceful society in goodness. Brahmana chaturya visam sutranam sa parantapa karmani parvibhaktani svabhava prabhavarganai. Brahmins, chatyas, vaishyas and sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own nature in accordance with the modes with the material modes or chastiser of the enemy. Sam tapasa chacham chantiyaryamamev sakyam jnanamastakyan brahmakarma svabhavacham. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmins work. Saryam deotidi daksham yudhisapyapalainam dhanamrishvarabhava satram kama svabhavacham. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. And then the Vaishyas and the Sudras. Psikorakshapanyam Vaisyakarma Svabhavacham Vaishayatmakam Karma Sudrashab Svabhavacham. Farming, cow protection and business are natural work for the Vaishyas. For the Sudras there are labor and service to others. And now the Lord Krishna mentioned a verse, or a principle which he stressed before a few times. Svefye karmanya bhirata samsiddhim labhatenara svakarma nirata siddhim yata vinaditajna. By following his qualities of work, everyone can become perfect. Now please for me how this can be done. How this can be done? That means it can be done if we act in devotional service, if we do our work for the pleasure of Krishna. And that's where Krishna starts in 46. So one can yata pravite bhutanam yena samidam tatam svakarmanatam abhyasasitim vindati manava. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, one can attain perfection through performing his own work. So one can achieve full Krishna consciousness when one works with the understanding that the occupation that I have is given to me by Krishna, and therefore I will give him the results of my work. That Krishna is my engaging me. So Srila Prabhupada explains that principle in the purport. If one should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesh, the master of the senses, and that's factually like that. According to our karma, we acquire certain modes, that's right. But Krishna puts us under these certain modes, and we have to act according to these modes, doing a work. So Krishna has put us here, but whatever modes we are, we can serve Krishna. That's
Krishna stress on that and everything.
Of course, in the mode of ignorance it's difficult, but in the mode of passion, yes, Arjuna, the Kshatriya is in the mode of passion. The Sudras can also engage if they take, but only labor. They are in ignorance, but labor to assist the others. They are also elevated. And by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna should be worshipped. If one thinks always in this way, in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Tesam am samudarta. That was in the 12th chapter. Tesam samudarta. He picks up the devotee by Sika from the flying on Garuda from the ocean of material ocean of birth and death and lift him out. The Lord Himself takes care, shares of delivering such devotee. So, yeah. So that's the first thing. Lord Krishna has described the qualities of Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishnavas, Sudras, and then he tells everyone can attain perfection by acting to his duty according to the modes. And then in the next verse now he has told us how to do that. That's by worship of the Lord with the souls of all beings, who is all pervading, one can attain perfection through performing his work. And now he will in 47 he repeats a verse which he mentioned already in the 3rd chapter, and it's a repetition. There are 2 verses who are repeated twice in Bhagavad Gita, Manmano Bhaktu and this verse. So Krishna is stressing that here, that Shreyas Vadama Viguna Parnarmat Svanustita Svabhavaniyatam Karma Kurvam Napnoti Kilmisham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions.
Which number is the equivalent in chapter 3?
Chapter 3.
The beginning.
Yeah, here we are there. It's 335. It's nearly the same. Shares for Dharma Viguna, Paradharma Svanistita, the first line is the same, and Svadharma Nidanamshya, Paradharma Payavata. It's nearly the same. Prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Lord. Whether one is a Kshatriya, a Vaishya or a Sudra doesn't matter if he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal gratification is because of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord. Okay, 48. Sajjam karma kantya sadusham apinatyat sabamridoshna dumanagni pravritam. Speaking about the doshas, the faults in our work. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. So, Dronacharya was a Brahmin and he became a Kshatriya, an expert Kshatriya. But at the end it went wrong. So Krishna says not to do that. If conditioned life, all work is contaminated by the material modes of nature. So, in material modes of nature, no work will be perfect. These things are necessary. We cannot avoid them. Srila Prabhupada refers to a Vaishya. He said, similarly a merchant, however pious he may be, must sometimes hide his profit to stay in business, or he sometimes have to do business on the black market. That's happening. Similarly, one should not give up his natural occupation because there are some disturbing elements. Rather, one should be determined to serve the Supreme Lord by his occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. When a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. When the results of work are purified, when connected with devotion service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within, and that is self-realization. So the purpose is purification of the heart, and then developing love of God. So, because if when one becomes purified, it means two things in one. If one acts in Krishna consciousness, then one does not get reactions to one's work, no reactions. And one becomes purified, two effects at the same time. Particularly about these effects of devotional service, that is also in the 11th canto, the nice verse there, which is quoted many times by Srila Prabhupada. See if we find it. Here, 11.242. Bhakti Parasanubhavo Viraktir Ayatra Sheka Tika Eka Kala Papatya Manasya Tasna Tasna Tustipustiksut Apayonakasha. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and attachment for other things occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So three things. If one has devotion, one experiences, direct experience of Krishna, and attachment from the material world. That for one who surrenders completely to the Supreme Lord.
This was 11?
242. In the same way as pleasure, nourishment and relief from hunger comes simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. These are three effects: devotion, direct experience, and detachment. So, similarly, one should not give up his natural occupation because there are some disturbing elements. Rather, one should be determined to serve the Supreme Lord by his occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. So don't try to change your situation. This is a verse that.
Is that one?
Yeah. There's a verse quoted by Lord Chaitanya to the Kurma Brahman. He stayed 3-4 months in South India with the Kurma Brahman, and then there was the Chaturmasya, during the Chaturmasya, and afterwards Lord Chaitanya was going to continue his tour, and the Kurma Brahman said, "Oh, I became so attached to you, let me go with you." And Lord Chaitanya said, "No, you should stay with your family and chant Hare Krishna." And he quoted this verse, "Jane praya samupadasya namantaiva, jivan sanmukartam bhavatiya partam, stanesti tashuddhatam tanavan manabir, ye praya sajit shitipya straiste lokam, Those who, while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge, and with their body, words and mind, BMW, body, words and mind, offer all respects to the descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their life to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. So just doing that.
Which verse is that?
10:14:3. Dedicating their lives to these narrations.
Isn't it again Lord Chaitanya to the Kurma Brahma that he's saying wherever you meet, tell him about Krishna? That he's saying to him, you can stay here, but whoever you meet, just tell him about Krishna. Is it the same? This verse from the
That's
same
probably
story?
the same pastime.
The same pastime.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay.
That I don't remember that. I
Okay.
remember this
Okay.
verse that he spoke. That yes. That he. Mhm. Good. So when a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme, all the defects in the particular occupation are purified. When the results of work are purified, when connected with devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within. That is self-realization. Asakta buddhi sarva trachitatma vriyatastriya nashkamya siddhim paramam sanyana siddhigacchati. When we self-controlled and unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyment, can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect states of freedom from reaction. But that requires knowing who we are. Without knowing who we are, we cannot do that. And we have to know who Krishna is. Otherwise, we may think ourselves the enjoyer and the proprietor of things. And that's not, by that we can, without this knowledge we cannot perform real renunciation. Real renunciation means that one should think himself part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore think that he has no right to enjoy the results of his work. Since he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the result of his work must be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. This is actually Krishna consciousness. So that's real, being unattached, being real renounced, means knowing to whom things are belonging. What's the use to say, I renounce this and I renounce that, if it's not yours? I renounce the house of my neighbor. Everyone will say, I'm mad. But that's so saying that I renounce this is a kind of madness, because it's based on the illusion that something belongs to me. So that's, yeah. Then only we can understand a real renunciation. Real renunciation is explained by Bhakti Prabhava Swami that anasaktasya visayam yatartan upayunyatam nirbandha krishna sambhakti yukta varahyam uchate. Yukta varahyam, that's real renunciation. One who is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. So it means that, yes, that I'm not attached to things, because it's not mine, it's Krishna's. Krishna has created it. Krishna is maintaining it, that Krishna will annihilate it. But at the same time, Krishna gave us this. It's from him, but we are going to use it to worship him, to give him back. So that's like water is offered to the Ganges. You give it back to the Ganges. Yeah, that's yeah. But one should use it. It's not that one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship to Krishna. That's not renunciation. No, Krishna gives, we use it in his service. That so that's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That Siddhim prapto yata brahma tatapnoti niboda me samasana vekanteya nista chaknasi papara. Son of Kunti, learn from me how one has achieved this perfection can attain the supreme perfectional stage Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Yeah. The Lord describes for Arjuna how one can achieve the highest perfectional stage simply by being engaged in one occupational duty, because he wants him to fight. And that's his occupational duty. Performing that duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The actual perfection of knowledge is in attaining pure Krishna consciousness. That is described in the following verses. Yeah, let me finish now. At the end we will take question. Okay? And 51-53. Pujya Visudaya Yukta Trityamanam Nimanyasam Saptadim Visyam Chaktva Ragadvesha Vyudasya Cha Viviktasya Vilakrasi Yata Vakaya Manasa Dhyana Yoga Paro Nityam Varahyam Samupassitam Ankaram Balam Dakam Kama Koda Parikram Primucha Nirmama Santo Pamaboya Kalpate. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred. One who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. So many important points. And we will discuss a few things that this is a summary of the Bhagavad Gita. What's here is said has already been said before, that in 270 the Brahma Bhuta platform has already been explained through an example. Aporyananam Poryamanam Achala Patsistam Samudranapa Pravishantu Sattvat Tat Kamayam Pravishantu Sarve Sasantim Apnojina Kami Kami. As rivers are entering to the ocean is not disturbed by the rivers entering them. In the same way, one is not disturbed when some desires come up into the mind, that he remains aloof, peaceful from that. So, Brahma Bhuta platform in this material world means remaining undisturbed in the most disturbing situation. That yes, one is not disturbed by the influence of the three modes and is peaceful. That's an art to be learned. That requires a lot of spiritual advancement. But here is the way to attain that. That's a position of self-realization. We are self-realized. Nothing can disturb you anymore. When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in a mode of goodness. Thus one becomes the controller of the mind and is always in trance. He is not attached to the objects of sense gratification. He is free from attachment and hatred in his activities. Attachment and hatred. That's hatred. Attachment. I like it, I love it. Love and hate. Such a person naturally prefers to live in a secluded place. He has no false ego because he does not accept the body as himself, and that's a key point. Because he has no body concept of life, he is not falsely proud. He is satisfied with everything he is offered by the grace of the Lord, and is never angry in the absence of sense gratification. He becomes non-attached to material things, and that is a stage of self-realization of Brahman. This stage is called Brahma Buddha stage. When one is free from the material concept of life, he becomes peaceful and cannot be agitated. Cannot be agitated. That the prostitute tried to agitate Haridas Thakur, but he didn't go. So if one follows, but it's good to read these points and thinking, am I doing that? Controlling the mind with determination. You chant japa. Do I control the mind? Or the mind is, or the chanting is automatic pilot, and the mind is in the problem. All the problems I have to deal with. Being freed from attachment and anger and hate. Are we sometimes controlled by some attachment? A sudden search on the internet for something we should not search for, or something that we don't need. Who lives in a secluded place, like Amona.
Emola Chaka.
It's a nice place here. They don't come here, that's so far. No, that's so nice.
The road is bad. Coming.
Who eats little? Well, if you eat a lot, you're little. You are not coming to, but you are not getting fat. Who controls his body, mind, and power of speech? That's what we do now. We hear Bhagavad Gita, we speak Bhagavad Gita. I try to remember. Who is always in trance? That stage we did not yet attain. Who is attached, free from false ego? Good idea. False strength, false pride, lust, anger, and accepting of material things. Free from false proprietorship and peaceful. So the qualities we have to develop. And then we will come to the Brahma Buddha platform. Brahma Buddha Pashanatma Sustina Kanksin Samsavesha Bhutesu Mad Bhaktim Nabhate Brahma. When we is thus transcendentally situated, at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. So one who is engaged in devotional service, a devotee, is aiming to surpass that level. Devotion starts at the point of liberation. Otherwise the mind is not peaceful. The mind is absorbed in material things. If I come near to the goodness, then some devotion comes already, but it's not really the real thing. But when the mind is pure, then the real devotion starts to come. And when the mind is pure, that's the Brahma Buddha stage. And the symptom is Nashostina Kankshati. No lamenting. Not lamenting. No hankering. Means your mind is not going to the past, you're not going to the future, it's in the present. And to absorb our consciousness in something, we must be in the present. that sometimes you give lecture and everyone is busy with his mobile, they are somewhere else. That,
No present.
what can you get? It's like that today. Families together, everyone is eating and absorbed in their mobile, or they are talking with someone else to the internet, but not with our family members. Everyone is in his own world. That they are not present, and that's the same thing. You are not present. They are in their phone, in their thing, and they are eating, but they are not tasting what they are eating. It's all
In the phone.
Yeah. That.
Or walking, eating, and chatting.
Dr. Charmas told me when you eat, you should eat only.
Yeah.
And if you talk during eating, there is a chance of heart attack.
Yeah.
I was talking once on phone, I was eating with him.
Yeah.
I said, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Some call came, I was still said, when you're eating, eat.
Yeah. Do one thing at the same time.
Now
And do it good.
And Prabhupada never spoke with anybody. He was so concentrating on when he was eating. But now culture is meeting time we eat.
Yeah.
So neither we meet nor we eat.
Yeah, so now no breakfast meetings.
Yeah.
That's mode of passion again.
It's lifestyle has become like
Yeah. In absolute concepts there is no difference between the served and the servitor, yet the distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. A living entity who is engaged in God's service, Krishna consciousness becomes also full in himself. It's an interesting point that, but realizing that's something else. He does not lament for any material loss or aspiring for gain, yeah, because he's fully in the service of the Lord. So that's another thing here. We are completely absorbed in our service, then we don't think about these things, hankering or lamentation. We are happy at the moment. At the moment now. That's bhakti. Be happy now. That don't think I'm going to become happy in this world. It's not going to happen. But we can be happy now by absorption in devotion service. And that's the Brahma Buddha platform. He does not see in the material world something else higher and something else lower. Higher and lower positions are ephemeral, and a devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearances or disappearances. For him, stone and gold are of equal value for the devotee. That, of course, when he gets gold, he's going to use it in Krishna's service. That.
Finish the temple and
Yes. In that stage of existence, the idea of becoming one with the Supreme Brahman and annihilating one's individuality becomes hellish. So some impersonalists think this verse is about merging with Brahman and become one with Brahman. Yet, the world is miserable for the materially infected person, but for a devotee, the entire world is as good as Vaikuntha. Shall I read it again? The world is miserable for the materially infected persons, but for a devotee, the entire world is as good as Vaikuntha. That's the Brahma Buddha platform. That the highest personality in this universe is no more significant than an ant for a devotee. Such a state can be achieved only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who preach pure devotional service in this age. So that's, we are in the movement of Lord Chaitanya. If we become preachers, then we can attain it. Preaching devotion, pure devotional service. But we will read tomorrow morning at the end of the Gita. Krishna will say, for one who distributes this sacred knowledge, this sacred dialogue, and gives this knowledge to others, pure devotional service is guaranteed, he says. That's by the promise. So, but this Brahma stage is it's a stage. Impersonal that's the goal. For us it's a stage where we go further to develop love for Krishna. But, and then we can know Krishna. Bhakti Amama Vichanti Avya Sasmi Tattva Tatamam Tattva Vavisati Tatanantra. I can understand me as I am by the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service. When one is in full conscious of me by such devotion, he can enter in the kingdom of God. So it's not by mental speculation that we can know Krishna. That's not by academic study or scholar or becoming a scholar that one can know Krishna. So devotional service in the Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada, right? Devotional service means that there must be the service and there must be God. The devotee after and the process of devotional service, such knowledge is never vanquished even after liberation. So if we become devotees next year, next life, hopefully not next year, but next life, then that was described in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. When we take birth, we become automatically attracted to devotional service, and we will remember that. We will remember our relationship with Krishna and continue our devotional service. You see, Srila Prabhupada, he was 4-5 years at the Ratha Yatra with his father. He was just a toddler and he was brought to the temple of the Maliks to see Radha Govinda. I've been there in that temple, a beautiful temple. Dates are still there, but different dresses. There's more in the worship there is more in awe and reverence. Krishna is the king, and Srimati Radharani is the queen, but in that time it was different. Srila Prabhupada was a toddler, he would stand there and for hours gaze at Radha Govinda. If you take such a birth, not bad. But, liberation involves getting free from the concept of material life. In spiritual life, the same distinction is there, the same individuality is there, but in pure Krishna consciousness. So he explains based on, this is a verse from Svesvatara Upanishad, I think, that where a bird, there is a verse that explains a bird is 2 green parrots are entering a green foliage of a green tree, and the 2 parrots are in the tree, but you don't see them because it's all green. Does that mean they have merged? They are not there anymore? No, they are still there. So in personal things I'm going to merge and I become one. But Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, you can not cut the soul to pieces, it cannot be destroyed by anything. How it's going to merge? Yeah.
Which verse is that?
Hmm?
Do you know which verse is that from Svesvatara Upanishad?
I don't know, but it's mentioned in other purposes. But you do a search on the database, you will find it. The 2 green parrots. But that's from the Upanishads for certain. After attainment of the Brahma Buddha stage of freedom from material conceptions, devotional service begins by one's hearing about the Lord. When one hears about the Lord, automatically the Brahma Buddha stage develops. So even if we are not on that stage, it will develop. And material contamination, greediness, lust, and sense enjoyment disappears. No sankshati na kankshati. No shoshti na kankshati. Lust and desires disappear from the heart. He becomes more attached to the service of the Lord, and by such attachment he becomes free from all material contamination. That state of life he can understand the Supreme Lord. So after liberation, the voice of devotional service continues. Actual liberation is getting free from the misconceptions of life. And that's a nice definition of liberation, getting free from the misconception of life, that I'm the body, I'm the proprietor, I'm the enjoyer, and so on. We had a question.
Can you explain about the Arjuna's passion? I mean, he's in a mood of passion which is thinking all the time for Krishna. This is transcendental passion, or can you explain something?
That's explained before. Arjuna is a pure devotee.
Yeah.
He's not influenced by the modes of nature. He's influenced by Krishna's internal energy, which make him play a role to teach us that. But generally, yes, a Kshatriya is in a mode of passion, and he can become purified by using that passion in the service of the Lord, and that means sometimes fighting on the battlefield. That, it's a whole ceremony.
Is this mean purification? Is it purification to passion? Is this means that he will go to sattva, or is it just connected with Krishna? He will develop Krishna consciousness.
The same. Pure sattva is Krishna consciousness. Pure sattva is Krishna consciousness. But when goes up gradually, the passion diminishes, the goodness comes more, and the ignorance is practically gone. But then the goodness becomes pure, unless it comes. But that's the influence of practicing devotional service. We go up to these modes. We go up to the yoga process. We go also by karma yoga, jnana yoga, and dhyana yoga. But we go also through these stages. But it's going slow. Gradually we go up in the modes. But
for those who are in the gradual way, for example, they're Kshatriyas, they have to do their duty, then to become Brahmanas, and then higher to Brahmavata. Is it like that?
Yeah, if they are not fighting for Krishna, yeah. But there is another aspect. It may not happen like that. Because they may fight on the battlefield, but they have the expectation to go to heaven. So they may go to heaven first. And so also that's more goodness, but also some passion, and they have to come back to this planet and then go again. That
We never know.
Yeah. It's a gradual process. It's a risky process. That good. Something else.
In Brahmavata platform, there is no love, yeah? Only excitement?
It's neutral.
Neutral.
Because in the Brahmavata platform, especially impersonalists who are in the Brahmavata platform, they cannot develop love for Krishna because they don't believe in Krishna.
But the devotee, they have it, yeah?
He has a relationship with Krishna, so he surpasses.
Only surpasses
the Brahmavata platform.
Okay.
At a certain moment we become completely purified, and you just go to that. You are not aware of it, but you can know when this real devotion
come. For sure.
we have surpassed that, but it's not also black and white like yes. On Monday evening at 6 p.m. I will go to the from the Anartha Nirviti to the Brahmavata stage. No, it can go up and down, and then finally we reach that. We surpass that. Good, and tomorrow morning, Krishna willing, we will end the Gita, but And then tomorrow afternoon I will start preparing you for the exam.